Yeah, we are live. It is Wednesday, February the 24th, 2021, 11:30 a.m. Eastern, 8:30 a.m. Pacific. That's it.
Yep, that's it.
Try to hold it while doing the opening. We are NasCanucks Coffee Time Edition, presented by Vibraprint for all your custom printing needs. Yeah, I'll get the banner up there. Let's just find that banner.
Sure, yeah.
Welcome to NasCanucks. There it is. Boom. There we are. We are continuing coverage from Daytona because of schedule changes. There was no California race, but we got the Daytona road course, which I've always been a fan of that road course. Thinking back, I attended my first big-time race at the Daytona road course, and I was sitting just inside. I don't know how I got inside the road course, because I was sitting watching going into turn 6 out onto the super speedway. That's kind of where I was after the second horse.
I know how you got in there.
I don't.
Well, it wasn't for a car, right? There was no cars on track.
What I don't figure out is you look at the overheads. I don't know how I got to that patch of grass.
Oh, okay.
Because there's no access roads that cross over the infield road course. Like, it might have been one of those, we got there and then we were stuck there for the race.
Yeah.
So or either that, or maybe we were outside the kink and I was looking across. Let's be honest, it was 1993. But I remember looking out because unfortunately there was a fatality in turn 6 of that race. And that was the Daytona 200 motorcycle race, folks. But anyways, back to NASCAR. So we stayed in the area. Should we do the results first, or should we talk about this week's news first? Race Hub does the news first, and then they go to the highlights. I don't know.
Well, we can talk about the race and then kind of the aftermath.
That sounds good. All right. So going into the race weekend, no qualifying. It was all drawn from the Matrix. Whatever.
Do I need to get the hat again?
Yeah, whatever. I think we've got a little bit of a David Blaine going on, pulling out those pill balls that's palming certain numbers and putting out other ones. But anyway, so we got into the trucks on Friday evening, I guess.
Yep.
We'd call it. Evening into night. Yeah, kind of, even though they were turning left and right, kind of a repeat of the previous week where... Except they left all the wrecks till the end of the race because it took them 3 overtimes to get her done.
Yep.
I thought it was interesting. One of the storylines they really were trying to promote was Haley Deegan. And I don't mean to beat her up each week, but
she does nothing.
They wanted to talk about her so bad, and she ran outside of the top 20 the whole race until there was a big wreck. Took a bunch of trucks out that put her into the top 20. And then as soon as they threw the camera, she was all kinds of wrong in the restart, and she ended up going right back out of the top 20 again. So, racing Jason White out of British Columbia continued with the same paint scheme, and the only time we saw it was that Canadian flag when the truck was pancaked up against the wall.
Yeah.
So, no Maple Leafs.
Yes, Jason. Just listen to the show.
Listen. I believe we are older than you. Listen to your elders. Other Canadians in the field, Stuart Friesen was there. Michael Waltrip tagged him as an early favorite because, as he liked to brag 3 times during the broadcast, even though it made him sound like an absolute moron, he said, "Hey, Stuart, you're one of my favorites to win." And he went, "Really? I'm a dirt tracker from Canada." He says, "Exactly. There's a threat of rain, and running on a wet road course is the same as running on dirt." And he had that, Stuart gave him that look that you give me on occasion. Like, what? Maybe if you run at the beginning of the night at a dirt track right down low where it's soupy and muddy, he said that's the only time there's any carryover.
Yep.
Night and day. Michael claims to have run on dirt, clearly not competitively, because anyone knows by lap 10 of the main, it's like asphalt out there anyways, for the most part.
Yeah, Michael also claims to have a lucid thought at times as well, too.
And that clearly wasn't one of them.
Yeah.
So, Yeah, and we also had Alex LeBay. They did mention him as a favorite early. It's funny. They mentioned him as a favorite before the green flag dropped, and didn't really mention him again after because they're like, "Oh, he's road racer." Blah blah blah. It's like, yeah, but
other Canadian Raphael Lessard did pick up a stage win.
Yep, that was good to see. Actually, it was Lessard that was an early favorite. That's what it was because of the turning left and the right. Who did I say? LeBay? LeBay wasn't even in the race.
No, it was Saturday.
He was in Saturday's race, yeah. So I'm trying to think. Sheldon Creed was doing well as usual.
Yeah. I just like we were talking off air here that it was just it seemed like another week of just until the end.
The usual drivers were being aggressive,
and
which
then,
would be the eventual race winner.
Well, and I want to say we can say Ben Rhodes did pick up the win, but even after that in the overtimes, it was almost like some. The word just escapes me now, but just kind of some made up drama because you kept hearing his radio say, you got to save, but everybody knew he was good.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And even he was like, I'm trying to, I'm doing everything you're telling me to. And he still had tons left in the tank.
Yeah. And it's amazing how every time they do a restart, everyone forgets how to drive going in that one turn 1 through down to the first horseshoe, which I believe is turn 4.
You know what though? You can't say it was just the trucks. It was that all weekend.
Oh yeah. A lot of extracurricular activity. Unfortunately, with it being so soupy and stuff, you're kind of stuck out there. If you got it, and splitters digging in and mud flying and this and that. They did, NASCAR did institute, they put some extra concrete in the bus stop to avoid the dirt tracking, which I was really pissed off about because I missed the dirt. Stuart Friesen would have won the race had there been dirt on the track. I'm just saying.
Would have won the race had there been
dirt. Hands down, not even a question. Other than that, I'm trying to think. Yeah, there wasn't much of note.
No.
Ben Rhodes won.
Yep.
So on to Saturday.
On to Saturday.
We're already 8 minutes in, anyways. So
yeah.
On Saturday,
I thought a bit better race.
Yep.
But until the end.
And it was interesting.
Well, to start it's going to be bad when you got Joey Logano with his half head of hair and his glasses.
You can hear his teeth when he's talking.
And his
have you noticed that? You can hear that toothy grin while he's talking. The way he talks.
And, the 80s was a long time ago. You don't need the skinny tie.
Yep.
And the thing is, right off the bat, it was like, oh boy, this is gonna be fun. It was when Noah Gragson had his issues off the top. We had to start,
right?
And and Logano makes the comment, well, this is what gives you nightmares at night. That's why they're nightmares, Joey, because they are at night. You can just say it gives you nightmares.
Hey, Eddie Van Haskell, good to see you.
And it's just.
And we should reiterate, this is also live Q&A. We got 3 people watching, so if you have any questions for either of us regarding the races or ourselves, ask away.
Tell us we're wrong, tell us we're right.
I will say in the closing laps of stage 1, we saw AJ Allmendinger running for the stage win because he is running for points this year.
Yeah, he is full-time.
Somebody forgot to tell Austin Cindric that. Mom and I are eating 7-Eleven honey garlic wings. Nice! Nothing but the best for Eddie. Breakfast of champions right there. We're coming down closing laps. Allmendinger's like, screw you, because that was karma right there. He just ran him down.
Yeah.
And Austin forgot, one, you don't have to stay above the double yellow line. You can go below it if you want.
Mm-hmm.
But they got into each other. Austin's all, guy's not even running for points. Actually, he is, Austin. Oh, okay. And I will say I laughed quite hard out loud because I could hear the truth and desperation in his voice when they decided to rehash the finish of stage 1 and Drew Blickensturfer is up in the booth, he says, Joey, what are your thoughts? Was that blocking? And he says, all right, I just went through all this. I don't want to talk about it. And you could just hear the way he said it. It was so genuine. Like, look, I've been beaten up for a week on this.
Oh, yeah. Because by that time, Keselowski still hadn't talked to him.
Right. Exactly.
You know,
and then Cindric, once again, proving yet again he is a true Penske driver. Because after he went into and they had to cut part of the car off and stuff, he says, okay, how much do I have up there? How much can I push? And rather than the crew chiefs, he said, well, there's some missing, blah, blah. He should just, don't hit anybody. But no. Austin's question is, how much can I still run into people, dump people, take them out, cheat to win, as far as I'm concerned?
Yep.
Which ended up helping him, because with that right front open like that, his brakes were never overheating, and it seemed to work for him. He had a long run car, and he seemed to have the car to beat, which ties into.
Well, I think everyone thought it was going to be Allmendinger and Cindric.
Right, those were the two for the win.
Yep.
It appeared, and it looked that way in stage 1. Unfortunately, Allmendinger went several laps down with repairs, which immediately Austin, where is he on the track? Don't worry about it.
Yep.
Run your race.
I did like, is it Chris Price from Colleague Racing? Let's have an interview with him while they're trying to work on the car in the pit, and he's trying to keep an eye on what's going on.
Yeah.
Right, and you can even
how's
see
it going down there? We're working on the car.
Yeah, but I did like, and you can tell just how Logano's thought process again.
Yeah.
Well,
didn't they do that during?
Not that we're really hitting on Logano, but hey, he did try to kill us. That's a fact.
Yeah.
They said, Price says, it's a long season. It's a long season. We're going to remember. And we're gonna win the championship. And Logano's like, see, look how positive he is. No, he just said, Cindric, you're gonna get payback. It's a long season.
Yeah, I know. Joey being the clueless Penske driver. Oh, that sounds very nice. Yeah. Shut up, Joey.
He's so positive. Yeah.
God.
Moron.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then that led to
and it was interesting because we're just, as a teaser. I know there's a lot of fans out there who were hoping for a Joe Gibbs sweep of the weekend in the 2 series he was fielding teams in. But I'm guessing you didn't have the drivers pick that you thought you did for the Gibbs wins.
Yeah,
let's be honest, it looked like Harrison Burton.
Oh, yeah.
He was another car, very competitive, kept it in one piece. And then, but Harrison Burton at age 21, he's old news at Gibbs Racing. He's not the future of Gibbs anymore.
Well, as Blickensturfer said, he's the veteran driver.
He is the veteran driver.
In year 2, he is the veteran driver. But Ty Gibbs put
on a race.
Credit to him, he did finish second in the ARCA race at Daytona last year on the road course. Right. But just he was not afraid of anybody out there. Yeah.
So Ty Gibbs won the race.
He had his one moment after winning stage 2 when he was like, I can't believe I'm talking to Joey Logano, like he was all excited.
Yep.
He went
so Ty wins the race, and he shows he's human because he showed, and he admitted it during his interview, one thing he can't do: a burnout.
Yes, but let's rewind a couple times with that. Those couple overtimes that they had.
Yeah.
Like that first one, he went from 12th to like 7th or 6th. Like he went by 5 or 6 cars on turn 1.
Yeah.
On the outside.
And we should also mention this is the first race ever in the Xfinity Series. Also, first time in a race with live pit stops.
Yes.
First race of that length. There was a lot of firsts going on.
Yeah. And so that first overtime start, he went by like I said, 5 to 7 cars.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was only a double overtime for the Xfinity Series.
So then they had the other caution.
Yep.
And then we talk about turn 1 and going through that dirt that's there in the mud. Did you see him go through that spot on that second restart?
Oh yeah.
It looked like the front of the car exploded, and he still came out like just guns a-blazing.
Boogity.
Oh, and it was just, and then that made him pass a couple more cars as well. So it's
speaking of which, and I want to touch on briefly because NASCAR, even though it's a road course, NASCAR's sanctioning body doesn't believe in local cautions, for one thing.
Yeah.
And two, NASCAR, I'm looking at you. Why are you waiting upwards of 2.5 minutes to throw the caution for a stalled vehicle? Because during the first overtime of the truck race, I'm going to go back. There was a melee in turns 1 through 4, we'll call it. There's a truck stalled out, right away.
Mm-hmm.
Yet they allowed everybody to go all the way around the track, which is a 2-minute lap.
Yep.
And when the leader is about 20 feet from taking the white flag to make it official, they throw the caution for the truck that's been stalled for 2 full minutes. We knew it was stalled. You could have thrown the caution on the backstretch. You could have thrown the caution while they were still in the infield, but you didn't.
No.
That was annoying. That was really annoying. The way the cautions were. And then other times, it seems like, if you're a front or you're a top team and you spin out caution right away.
Yeah.
But you noticed, fuel filler spins out. Get it going, buddy. We're not throwing the caution for you.
Yeah.
The old double standard there, which I don't like at all. Speaking of which, did we see a repeat? No. It was the Cup race where we saw victory lane to the back of the pack, Michael McDowell. Yeah. So getting into the Cup race.
Well, yeah,
we saw that last year where
one more thing with the Ty Gibbs.
Yes.
He referenced it in his winning interview about, he apologized for his interview after the ARCA race. But I still have no issue with that interview. He called out the guys who finished first and second for doing what he got penalized for.
Also, have you ever seen Coach Gibbs more emotional over a win?
Yeah, no.
Like, I don't know if it was the weather or not, or the way his mask was, but his glasses were fogged up.
Yes.
So I think he was you could hear it a bit in his voice too. Like,
no.
I think but it wasn't like pure emotion for the win as much as shock. Like, holy crap, the grandkid, it's his first start.
Yeah.
It was as much pride emotion as happy and else.
I have been told that there was not a dry eye in the JGR shop on Saturday night. No doubt.
Oh. So yeah, Ty Gibbs wins. It was good interview by Ty. They allowed him to stay up late enough to finish the race, which was nice.
Yes.
So let's then looking ahead to Sunday. We had Michael McDowell pull a Brett Moffitt victory lane last week and then throwing it away in the first corner of the next race. Except Brett did it back-to-back in the same night. So
yeah. Can't say I'm surprised.
Well, you're not the biggest Michael McDowell fan, we know.
And
I was surprised that some people were calling him a favorite to win the race because of his road racing background. I'm like, yeah, but you got to have competitive equipment.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, I'm calling, sort of like RCR in the early through mid 80s. They were known as the Junkyard Dogs, the Black Aces. They were kind of the outlaws. Colleague Racing, when they field that number 16 and throw Allmendinger in it, I'm like, there's your outlaw team, because that's not it. It's kind of a road course ringer. It's kind of, but that's an outlaw team. They're just there to show up and be competitive and win. And I'm becoming more and more of a colleague fan the last few years. I really like the way They're running the because they have the mix of the veterans and the young guys in Xfinity. They're not afraid to field a car in the top series here and there, or trucks, whatever's needed or wanted. It's great to see. I'm real, including the Matrix. Like, how many times during the race did we hear about Chase Elliott going for Jeff Gordon's record? Okay. First of all, at no point during Sunday's race was Chase going to either break the record or even tie the record. The record is 6 road course wins in a row. Chase had 4 going in. So all it is a B-level story at best. Oh, by the way, Chase is trying to continue his streak. That's all that headline is. But no, it's all about Chase. And you notice Chase, they used 2 different photos, the headshots when talking about drivers. And I noticed, one, Chase has got the full beard. And the other one, he's kind of got the beard, but it's not. So it looks like he's just got the big Fu Manchu mustache, which I think he's doing that just to try to people think he's Ryan Blaney so they don't hate him as much.
Yeah.
It's like all I can think was Ryan Caldwell wants his mustache back.
Yeah.
So, who had the longest day in that race? I'm going to say Brad Keselowski.
Yeah, because
he spent an awful lot of time off-road.
Oh, yeah, and it's like almost every turn, he was smoking the tires as well.
Yeah, it was almost like, and nobody mentioned during the race, he had too much front brake in the car.
Yeah.
His rears were not glowing much, and nobody mentioned brake bias, that's what I thought. Like when he was having those initial problems, when they really first, I was like, he's got no rear brakes, but nobody mentioned. Driving beyond the equipment, we should start calling it like the Kyle Larson Award, because Larson for years drove beyond the car's means. Kurt Busch.
Oh, yeah.
Because you figure he's got the same equipment as Ross Chastain, and Ross wasn't Kurt Busch.
No, not at all.
Kurt was very competitive, and doing that, it seems like every road course race, Kurt Busch is running in the top 3 to 5, right? With older tires or low on fuel. Like he's always behind the 8 ball in some way, shape, or form.
How about making that run through the grass and still not getting anything on the front grill?
Twice.
Yes.
There's twice the kink came and he didn't, man. Yeah. And because they never had the right angle is you're basically throwing the car into a 4-wheel slide through the kink to take it flat out.
Yeah.
Coming out of the first horseshoe into the kink, they did the stupid drone thing where they're flying the drone at the cars. So they're going by, it appears twice as fast, which no, there's a reason why you track with the cars so you can see the cars. Forget about the background. All we see is boom, 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 boom. Oh, this is awesome. Awesome. What? I'm just getting nauseous. Whereas they should have been shooting the other way to see them going through the kink, and you would have seen those ass ends kicking out, just floating them through there. But I as much as I thought traditionally there was not a lot of passing zones on that layout of a course, but geez, there's got to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 passing zones,
and passing on the outside. Like Truex did that a bunch of times.
Turn 5, like the second horseshoe.
Yeah.
Dive bomb it on the outside because it was so wide. And nobody was ever pinned around the inside of that corner.
But no, once again, and like I said, we talked about this off air as well too. I thought another race that was just nothing really happened until the end when we had as Dale Jr. called it, the rainbow caution.
Right.
But then he said, he was calling it, like, he had no idea why they threw that caution. It was just a rainbow caution. But then talking to other people, it was raining 3 turns. It was a lot worse than what you could see on TV.
Yeah, and I think, we noticed it right before the caution was that transition coming out of 6 up into NASCAR 1. Cars were 4-wheel slides. I think we saw, I forget who it was. They were saying, I think it was Truex had a really good launch out of 6, and you can see one car got whoever he was about to pass, he got a little squirrely. Truex surged ahead about 2 feet up on the car, but then he stopped all momentum, and then he slid damn near out to the wall.
Yep.
And that was right around that time. But overall, not bad racing overall. We did, like, say, there was some entertaining spots here and there, like Kurt Busch.
Yep.
I'm going to say on a scale of 1 to 10, I'll give him a little bit of a proud factor, which was coming down to the closing laps. Joey tried to block once, but then you could hear, it was almost like the voice that said, don't win 2 races 2 weeks in a row in this manner. Because he would have
just wrecked 2 races in a row in this.
Yeah, like if he had done a repeat and basically taken out the other guy, held off, because he could have.
Yeah. Because
they were like 5 seconds in front of the other guy. So they could have even done their little melee. I'll Chase and Ryan Briscoe in the Clash.
Yeah.
Or Ryan Blaney in the Clash. And he still would have won. He still would have had enough time to gather it up.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't. Smart move, Joey, because he would have been taken out lap 1 at Homestead.
Oh, for sure.
You can't 2 weeks in a row, so which brings us around to he was caught behind Kurt Busch for quite a while with slightly fresher tires, waited for the right opportunity to get around Kurt, and that would be Christopher Bell, who nobody had on their books as a favorite to win because he's a dirt tracker primarily. But I was thinking to myself during the race, is Christopher Bell the next Kyle Larson? And yes. Kyle is one of, a pure racer, put him in anything. And I think that's what Christopher Bell is, because he came home with his first career win. Who would have had him in the pool?
Call me crazy, call me whatever. I think Bell could be even a bit above Kyle Larson.
That's impressive talk.
Just me saying, just because it's sure he was in better equipment than Larson was ever in, but
he's also younger too.
He's younger and he's done a lot.
Yep.
So
ties in with a piece of trivia. 4 drivers have got their first career win for Joe Gibbs in the 20 car. Who are those 4 drivers?
Jones? No, not Jones.
Jones?
Didn't Jones win in the 77?
No, he won in the 20.
There you okay. I thought Jones won in the 77 in one race.
Yep. He might have won 1 in each. But Jones was on the list.
Okay. Well, I guess he didn't win in the 77. Smoke?
Yep. Obviously, Christopher Bell. And then one of your favorites.
JTR? For Gibbs?
Yep.
In the 20. The other one is, that fourth one is just...
Well, he mentioned on Saturday that his record as youngest Xfinity driver was in doubt.
Yeah.
Smiling Joey Logano!
When it never was in doubt.
Yeah.
But...
Yeah. The guy who managed to roll a car 3 times at Dover.
Yeah.
So, yeah. 4 drivers got the first career wins in the 20. So, it's good to see Christopher Bell to do that. I know there was an early preseason prediction who'd win first, Eric Jones or Christopher Bell. Well, that's been answered.
Yep.
Also, which brings us into a prediction. Now that we've had Michael McDowell and Christopher Bell both essentially get into the chase.
Bell will make it in, McDowell won't.
Well, what I was going to say is this going to be, because they limit it to 16 drivers, is this going to be the first year where a win does not guarantee a chase spot?
For McDowell, I'm going to say, will he finish outside the top 30?
No. Because all you have to do is finish 30th every week to finish in the top 30.
No.
And he can finish 22nd every week.
Well, as a road course ringer, he was running 34th for a while there.
Yeah, you would too if you did the off-track excursions. So, yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Is it going to be more than just a win to guarantee you a spot? Last year we had 13 or 14 winners in the series, and it was thrown out on Race Hub last night, and Clint Boyer said he's predicting only 10 winners this year.
No, I think there's going to be more.
Yeah, I think so too, especially now that we have two right there. Because, he's like, well, your usual, your Truexes, your Hamlins, your Harvicks, Chase Elliott, they're all going to win your 3 or 4 races, and that's going to take up most of the races. Well, not necessarily.
I don't know.
So that brings us into some news for the week. So,
biggest news for me
is
the owner suspension for next week. A 1-race suspension.
Due to COVID violations.
Yep. So Chip Ganassi fined $30,000.
Yep.
Suspended from Homestead. But he can sit in the grandstand or in a suite. He just can't have any
he can't go into the accredited area.
Yeah, he can't have any kind of communication at all with the team.
Well, you're allowed cell phone. He's not allowed team radio.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, which is like, remember when Tony Jr. got suspended at New Hampshire? He just sat in the RV outside the backstretch and still called the race.
Yeah.
From the other side.
So I'm hearing that it's for a sponsor that he brought into the race?
Yes.
So
no. Yes.
Or a friend.
They just said
he brought somebody in.
Also, based off of his win on Saturday, Ty Gibbs is now going to run 14 more Xfinity races this year.
Okay.
Did you know that?
No.
Oh.
Because he was slotted in because Ty Dillon's going to be running a bunch in the 54.
Yeah, he's running 5.
Then you got Truex, Hamlin, Busch are going to be running in the 54.
Well, maybe he's going to be running the 18 or the 20 as well.
Well, they've already got guys in those cars too, don't they?
I don't know. Maybe they'll run an extra car. I don't know. I'm just reading. You're going to see him next, March 13th at Phoenix. Okay. He's also running Martinsville, Darlington, Dover. It's hard for me to tell because it's all by their Twitter handles because it was all off Twitter. So it's March 13th at Phoenix Raceway. No problem. April 9th at Martinsville S-Way. May 8th at Too Tough to Tame. So it's like I got to do
Darlington.
At Monster Mile. May 29th, he's running Charlotte.
Okay.
June 5th, Mid-Ohio. June 27th, Pocono. July 3rd, Road America. August 7th, Watkins Glen. August 14th, IMS. August 21st at Michigan. September 11th at Richmond. October 9th on the Roval. And October 23rd at Kansas. What you don't hear there is any super speedway races.
No.
Or the dirt. What you do see is pretty much all the road courses.
Yep.
So there is that. That didn't even take that photo. Okay. Also, news. Richard Petty lost one of their major sponsors this week.
Okay.
Worldwide Technologies, which was over the rear side window on the car at Daytona. Like it was on Eric Jones' driver's uniform. They're gone as of this week.
Okay.
Also, they were also sponsoring Bubba Wallace as well, kind of thing. And it's gone from both. They're completely out of NASCAR. So that's gone.
Okay, was there a reason stated for that or just
No, they didn't say. Just that it's gone. What else do we have here?
I'm wondering if that is the same as what the Chip Ganassi with that issue their one sponsor had. Because Worldwide Technologies also sponsors a raceway, does it not?
Possibly.
Or a race. Remember that one we had last year with the trucks? They had like the 18 names.
Right. And the other thing was just a fun stat. With this Cup win on Sunday, Christopher Bell became the 35th driver to win in all 3 NASCAR National Series.
I guess, yeah.
Remember when you could count on one hand the winners in all 3 series?
Yeah.
And the 2 biggest names was Ken Schrader and Jimmy Spencer.
Mm-hmm.
So the times have changed.
Yes, they have.
So other than that, trying to think any other news.
No, not that I can think of. The Trackhouse Racing picked up another sponsor.
That's what it was.
Camping World to run on theirs, I think, the rest of the year almost, I think.
Pretty much. Yeah, and I think they're going to be a primary for some of that. So we're headed off to Homestead this weekend. I assume all 3 series again?
No, just 2.
Just 2?
Just Xfinity and Cup.
Oh, speaking of which.
The trucks got that extra race in this week. They used to take that 5 weeks off.
Yeah. I love what Monster Energy is doing for NASCAR. Contingency money for the Cup Championship, sponsoring multiple teams, multiple series, multiple manufacturers. Like they're not, we're just going to do Gibbs, but we'll do some Gibbs Cup, some Gibbs Xfinity, KBM. No.
They're on all 3 manufacturers.
I like it. However, can we? I don't know.
Same paint scheme?
We've seen the Monster when they drop the cans off to us. They got the black with the green. They got the white with the green. Can we do the white paint scheme? Like if we're gonna have 2 cars out there, I'm looking at Ty Gibbs and Riley Herbst, and they're running side by each on the track.
And when they put the
paint schemes,
they both look like they're 12.
And they both look like they're 12. Yeah. Little confusing because you're like, are they teammates? Nope. Are they in the same manufacturer? Nope. But yeah, they do sponsor all, right? Yeah, because it was a Ford and a Toyota in the Xfinity race.
Yep.
And then Kurt Busch running a Chevy. Yeah, so that's my little pet peeve on that. I did my rants as far as NASCAR on what they did and didn't do. Well, I think that's pretty much, we got that covered.
Looking ahead, Denny Hamlin on the pole for Sunday, the Cup Series.
Right.
It's funny. Chase Elliott. I'm looking over here now. It will start Hamlin, Logano, Bell, Harvick, Kurt Busch, McDowell, Keselowski, Ryan Preece, Truex, Cole Custer in the top 10.
That's something I wanted to shout out. I want to shout out Ryan Preece. Did you know he finished top 10 on Sunday?
Well, that's because everyone was doing the slide job shuffle.
Well, yeah, but for a short track modified driver, who also had to turn right, top 10 fit. Way to go, Preece. And let's be honest, he's not in the best equipment either.
Oh, no. So
is he part of JDG Jordy?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think yes.
Okay equipment.
So again, that lineup, as the week prior, set up based on race finish, points position, and fastest race lap. So where's Golden Boy when he's now not going for a streak?
Right. Speaking of which, since they're starting, I wonder if they would have had to have changed the points systems in the truck series. They've always started 36 trucks, so you'd think it'd be 36 points for a win. But since they start 40 trucks on occasion, they must have jacked it up to 40.
Yeah.
Which, if they leave it as 40 for a win throughout the season, as they should, because otherwise wins mean more at certain tracks, that means if you're at a race where there's qualifying, you do a start and park and finish 36th, well, guess what? You didn't get 1 point. You got 5 points.
Yep.
That's a big 5 points is a lot to one of those teams.
For sure. Just looking at the full lineup for Sunday now. Chase will start pole outside the top 10.
Of course he will.
He's got 11th. So, yeah.
I don't think there's any really notes because we don't really have the part-time teams and drivers where someone's going to parachute in for a race.
No, yeah. Only other thing that we talked about, and I asked this question of another friend who's a racer, and he said yes. And that is, I did see some trucks do a test at Bristol.
Okay.
This week, and it didn't look too bad. But speaking of trucks in Bristol, you asked me, so I will ask you back while we're on air here. Will Stuart Friesen make his Cup debut at Bristol on the dirt?
Good question. Couple things factor in. One, what manufacturer he's driving for. Because you could see Childress fielding an extra vehicle, for instance, because they're not at the maximum 4. So if Stewart's driving a Chevy, for instance, he has that opportunity to hook up with Childress in some way, shape, or form. I think just assuming everything lines up politically, being manufactured stuff, I'd like to see Colleague Racing throw Stuart Friesen in their, the Outlaws. Get right back to that.
You know what? I wouldn't doubt it.
Yep. That would be my pick. Also, do you think we'll see any dirt ringers like your Scott Bloomquist get brought in for a race?
Never know. Right?
Yeah. Although, you don't see that as much anymore. It used to be, I'm thinking like through the 90s. Now, of course, we're talking 25 years ago now, in the mid-90s. For instance, Cup Series ran Sonoma and Watkins Glen. Jimmy Spencer didn't run those races.
Oh, yeah. They bring like a bunch of teams to bring in those
road course ringers.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think so many teams now have so many guys who've driven dirt. Right?
Right.
You take like an Austin Dillon,
Really, and you only need to have one dirt guy per team to be able to fill in the other guys, right? Like,
yeah. And if you run through the teams, who you got? You got Dillon on RCR. JGR's got Bell.
Yeah.
Hendrick has Larson.
Right.
Trying to think of the other big teams.
Roche isn't. I don't know. Is Roche even a big team anymore?
Yeah.
Lack
of a better person, JTG Doherty has Stenhouse.
Right. And Priest.
Yep.
Oh, although we don't know how much dirt Priest has run.
No, we know Stenhouse has run a lot.
Penske has Ryan Blaney, who comes from a dirt
family.
Yep. But we don't know how much Ryan ever raced on dirt.
Mm-hmm.
If at all.
Yeah.
Who else? Front Row Motorsports. They don't really have anybody.
Oh, McDowell when it's on a road course running through dirt. Putting it out there.
Just couldn't let it go. Hey, Keith. He likes Watkins Glen. Nice.
Yeah, so.
Actually, Watkins Glen, I think, technically is our closest track. Well, me, anyways. Pocono might be slightly closer for you because literally both are south of us, right?
Well, for me, it's going to be Michigan.
Oh, yeah. Come think of Michigan for you. Yeah. Because I think Watkins Glen is 4 hours away from me.
And Pocono, I would love to go if they ever wanted to sell me something to go there.
Right.
There's that issue, but we'll bring that up on Pocono weekend.
Yep. So I think we've just about covered everything. And holy crap, 44 minutes and 50 seconds. And I was saying, let's go about 45.
Yeah.
So, all right. So final thoughts, pick a winner in the 2 races this weekend.
I look for Hamlin to get his first win.
Mm-hmm. Damn it. That was going to be my pick. So I got to pick somebody else. Fine.
And for the Xfinity,
Don't pick my other damn driver.
I don't know. I'm trying
Good.
to think here.
All right.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I'd like to for Cup take your boy Truex, but he's a little too snake bit lately. Like
I was saying this could be his time.
Actions beyond his control. Yeah, until I can see him get rid of that bad mojo that's been hanging over his head.
Yeah, but he has that, and then all of a sudden it's just gone.
Exactly. So I got to see it gone first. I need a week of gone.
That 1 week that it's gone, it's back on the next week.
You know what? I'm going to go with Harvick. Because they barely mentioned Harvick in the booth for the last 2 weeks. Other than, like they mentioned him at the end of Sunday's race just for the fact that there wasn't much damage to his car.
No.
And then Jeff is like, oh, now, with his nasally little voice, look at the left side of the car. It's all dented up. No, that's the paint scheme and the lights hitting off decals. It looked awfully smooth to me, Jeff. Jeff. Speaking of which, did you get to see the rental car race?
I have not yet. I fast forwarded to that because like I said, I finished watching the Cup race.
They
5 minutes before we went on air.
They also replayed it on Race Hub. And so for those who don't know, Jeff Gordon and Clint Boyer kind of recreated the Days of Thunder scene with the rental cars. And so they went out around the infield road course, and there's the results of Clint's car, Doug.
Okay, yep.
Okay. They did show during the race, you may have seen that, because one car, who was it? Chase Elliott, he got out in the grass and he had the tank slapper.
Yeah.
And Clint's line was, gee, it looks like you, Jeff, in the rental car, except Chase saved it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, in defense of Jeff, he did get into a tank slapper because coming out of the horseshoe, Clint leaned into him, which I wasn't expecting at first. The first time it happened, I'm like, holy crap, okay.
Mm-hmm.
What you don't notice is, and Jeff defended himself, he was trying to recover driving with one hand because he's holding the headlight from his car in his other hand for some reason, which he then throws out the window at Clint.
Yeah.
So I want to read the caption because this came up on Instagram. Slick, one owner / garage kept, normal wear and tear, sure, but I'm talking knee deep in rubber, air blows cold, won a race at the famed Rolex 24-hour track at Daytona under protest.
Yeah.
Okay. Make offer, cash talks. Kansas Speedway replies, $14, take it or leave it. Which, you got to love when the tracks get involved with that on the social media with that stuff. Yes. So I wanted to bring that up. That was quite funny. They were hitting each other pretty damn good. Like it was good. It was good. They were going to auction off the cars for charity, Mike Joyce said, but there wasn't enough parts. So then they were talking about just taking parts off the car and signing the parts to sell for charity.
I'm going to say for this weekend, I'm looking at the Xfinity lineup here. I'm cheating a bit.
Yeah.
I'm going to look Ty Dillon.
Okay.
Another JGR win.
I'm taking Harrison Burton.
That was
who I believe won at Homestead last year.
I think he did too, yes.
That's why I was like, don't take my other guy.
One last thing. If you've seen on Twitter.
So Harvick and Burton for me. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you've seen on Twitter last night, some people were taking this more serious. I think it was a little more playful. We know that Denny Hamlin, Jordan Fish are separated. Possibly that she still lives in the house. That's a pretty big house, even though they are separated. That she actually did tell him to go to bed and get off Twitter last night. It was just a playful exchange. A lot of people are saying, hey, she's telling him off, but it was just a playful exchange.
Hey, Terry. Just catching the end of her, Terry.
Because she basically told him, go to bed. Our kids have to go to school in the morning.
Nice. Well, there we are. So we did the preview. We did that. So, next week, are we back at our normal evening time next week?
Yeah, we're back.
All right. So we'd be back to Not Ready for Prime Time. He's been Doug. I've been Ben. This has been NasCanucks presented by Vibraprint, your Canadian NASCAR podcast with a Canadian spin.
Check it out. I'm not wearing it tonight. Go to myearfund.com. Use coupon code Corndog. Get yourself some earbuds or a pill. That's my big sponsor thing.
There we are. Check them out. Oh, and if you go to Vibraprint online, use coupon code Canuck and save 10% on your custom printing needs.
Exactly.
All right.
See you, Marcus.